Octopus Wanderer 7. Octopath Traveler 0. I've been eyeballing Octopath games for a long time now, after seeing the beautiful art style from the first game a long time ago, but I've held off on playing any because they've got a pretty huge price tag of $60. But with Octopath Traveler 0 being $10 less, I finally decided to bite the bullet and give it a try. So, Octopath Traveler 0 is a JRPG with a stunningly unique HD 2D art style, and it serves as a prequel to the other two games in the series. Before I even played this game, the main thing that draws you to this game, and definitely drew me to this game, is the art style. This is the kind of game that speaks for itself in its artwork, and every scene you see of it, it just looks like a masterful painting that demands your attention. Now, let's talk about the setting of this game. You live in the medieval land of Orstera, a huge, diverse continent home to a multitude of uniquely themed cities, biomes, people, rulers, and factions. There are two things you will learn about this world. First, this is a world of pristine visual beauty. There are windswept mountains where the gentle snowfalls glimmer and glow in the heavenly light of the winter skies, stunningly majestic but cozy cities bustling with life and energy, where the warm amber light of fireplaces shine out of every home window, contrasting with the ethereal snowfall of the frigid region. Coastlines of shimmering ocean stretching far into the horizon, ancient forests teeming with wildlife, light rays peering through the enormous trees generations old. From the highest mountaintop to the deepest cave, all lands in Orstera seem to be touched with a heavenly beauty that will leave you stunned with every new area of this majestic continent you wander through. And the second thing to learn about this world, for all this majesty of nature and stunning beauty of Orstera, it's directly juxtaposed by a world rife with human corruption, joyful cruelty, contempt for life and innocence, and people abandoning their very souls for any scrap of power they can get their hands on. In every city, every NPC you talk to, or quest you take up, the people in this world live in a time where the weak are mercilessly crushed by the ever-changing whims of the strong. Whether it be for money, power, fame, or characters with souls so far corrupted they simply take joy in marveling at the spontaneousness of their own cruelty. The innocent try to live honest, peaceful lives, but time and time again are mired with tragedy, loss, despair, and are powerless to do anything about it. And unfortunately for you, the character you play as is not exempt from the dark forces of this fallen world. In this game, you get to play as a character you create yourself. You get to design them, pick their class, name, talents, and details about their backstory or preferences. You're a person who comes from a good home. You have a loving mom who cooks you your favorite foods, a loving dad who is the respected captain of the guard, and teaches you how to be a strong fighter like him. You live in the warm and peaceful town of Wishvale. The beginning scenes and mission of this game do a really great job of creating that small town, countryside, pleasant life kind of feeling. Getting to know the people in your town, seeing their personalities and relationships, it really grounds you in the setting pretty well, and creates a good emotional connection with your hometown. You do a few missions for your neighbors, with your childhood friends Stia and Fen tagging along, working to prepare for a big festival coming up, meet a mysterious hermit that lives on the edge of town on the way, and fight some dangerous monsters while getting materials for the festival. After searching this cave and defeating a cool elemental wolf boss that was guarding a crystal you need for the festival, you find a mysterious ring lodged inside one of the larger crystals. Unfortunately for you, this ring is one of the most powerful artifacts of this world, and 3 powerful tyrants would do anything and everything to have it for themselves, and they are made aware of its location. In the midst of you and your friends enjoying the town festival, Wishvale is raided by soldiers bearing red crimson wings on their armor. The entire town is firebombed within seconds, and soldiers begin mercilessly executing your friends and neighbors left and right, demanding the location of the Ring of Alfric the Flamebringer. The leader of these ruthless fiends is a man named Titos the Hero. Your father tries to defeat him in combat and defend the town, but unfortunately he's easily killed by Titos. To add even more misery on top of that, during the chaos, a psychotic man named August the Playwright sneaks into your house and kills your mother in cold blood, babbling on to himself about how her death wasn't marvelous enough for the script of the play he's working on. It's also revealed later that the person who planned the attack was a wealthy baroness named Herminia Bertolini, who above all else lusts for money and wealth. These three villains represent three overarching dark forces in the world: power, fame, and wealth. By the time morning comes, all of Wishvale has been reduced to ashes. You, Stia, Fen, and a few others are the sole survivors of Wishvale. This event leads you to two of your first main goals in Octopath Zero. Seek revenge against the people that destroyed your life, and rebuild the town of Wishvale little by little as your journey progresses. I think this was a really solid and convincing story motivation for the character. It was heart-wrenching after the build-up of getting to know everyone in the town, and it gives you a strong motive and desire to know more about the villains and hunt them down. Okay, let's talk about the NPCs in this game. So, the world of this game is absolutely friggin' huge. There are a butt ton of NPCs, most of which you can talk to, and they have their own history and motives, and you can find more about it if you take the time to talk to them. And the way you talk to NPCs in this game is super unique. You have to, convince them to let you talk to them and learn more about themselves, and the chance of that working seems to be based on a lot of things like your character's level or your actions you take in the areas they live. If they like you and you convince them to talk to you, they'll tell you about themselves, and you can even get them to give you special items, hidden combat abilities, or even recruit them to help you in fights. They can even give you special town building recipes, cooking recipes, or be convinced to come live in your town altogether. All of that isn't even including quests that some NPCs have for you. After talking to 100 NPCs at this point, I still get excited to find new ones and hear more about their lives and have them inform me on what's going on in the towns they live in or the world around us. Now, any NPC that has a semi or major role in the story is also going to be voice acted, and most of the performances are really convincing and well done. Especially the main antagonists give some incredibly spirited performances that really sell every moment with them on screen. Now let's talk about some of the quests in this game. As you get deeper into your hunt for revenge, you really get a taste for just how dark the world of Octopath Zero can be, and how unpredictable and disparaged the lives of those living under the three antagonists' rule can be. For instance, there's this one quest that really changed the way I thought about the game and how it was going to go, that by the end of it, I just had my mouth agape, just because of how shockingly dark it turned so fast. You find and befriend this soldier named Velnort that works for Titos, the man who killed your father, and the ruler of the town of Emberglow. Velnort lives on the outskirts of town with his blind girlfriend, a kind and gentle woman named Rinyu. Velnort is an alchemist of sorts and has been shamefully working on a powerful poison elixir for Titos. The only reason he does so is because Titos will kill Rinyu if he doesn't comply. And as you get to know Velnort better and you poke around where he lives, you find that the lab he works in with Titos experiments on human subjects, using the elixir to turn them into mindless monsters. After confronting Velnort about this, you convince him to turn on Titos, and you work together to bring him to justice. Well, let's just say this backfires, and Rinyu gets kidnapped. You're able to track her down, and after a battle with one of Tydos' lieutenants, you free her. After a heartfelt reunion between the two lovers and what seems to be a happy ending, one of Tydos' men gets back up off the ground and, while enraged, pushes Rinyu off a tall cliff. And that part of the quest ends there, on that cliffhanger. Yeah, well, next time you check up on Velnort, he's in his house talking to a doll he made of Rinyu, pretending that she's still alive. And his voice is barely able to sound halfway sane. Stories like this are unfortunately very common in Orstera. There's a quest with one of the main antagonists, Herminia, who killed her entire slave workforce after they underperformed in production by a small margin. One with August the playwright, where he makes his own wife choose between saving the life of her son or him, and in doing so drives her insane and just breaks her mind. There's this lieutenant in Tydos' army that you fight early in the game, and when you're battling him, he talks about how he thinks children's blood tastes better than adults. The dark nature of the depths of humanity in this game so starkly contrasts with the beautiful, hopeful visuals of the world. It creates a very unique, overarching, twisting mood for the entire game that just works very well. And it really makes you hate the villains that much more and feel satisfied and justified bringing them down. Now, let's talk about what the combat's like in this game. So, in this game, you can have up to a crazy 8 people in your combat party at a time, and there are a whopping 36 entirely unique party members you can find and recruit throughout the world after doing parts in their storyline quests. Each recruitable character has their own distinct past, present, and future goals. They have different classes, unique combat moves. They're all fully voice acted with some amazing and convincing voice performances. There are even event scenes where your party members talk to each other, and it really adds some nice slice of life type moments to your journey. Now, fighting in this game is really satisfying. Like most RPGs, you collect weapons, armors, accessories, level up your characters, and learn secret combat arts from different places around the land. You fight people, beasts, monsters, and bosses. Each class has some really unique things they can do, and one of my favorite mechanics, if you chose the thief class like me, is you get the ability to steal from enemies during combat. If you steal from certain monsters like bosses, you can even take unique combat abilities from them that you just can't find anywhere else in the whole game. Like, when I was doing the boss fight against Tydos, I decided to attempt to steal from him, and I was able to steal one of his signature moves that he uses against you in the fight, and that is just so cool. Using special combat abilities in this game is really cool. Each ability has their own special visual effects, and your character will even do unique voice lines when using them. The visual effects and sound effects for using some of the higher level combat moves are so powerful and stylish, they're just incredibly fun to use. Did I mention that this world is huge? Because the amount of enemies you find in Orstera is crazy. There are countless types of enemies from small to large, all with their own incredibly well-drawn designs and moves completely unique to them. Once you get deeper into the game, the enemy designs for tougher enemies or bosses get so intricate and detailed, you can end up fighting some straight-up terrifying freaks of monsters. Overall, the combat, I would say, is incredibly satisfying, challenging, and really rewards strategic planning and understanding of the game's mechanics. One of the things that cannot be ignored and is present in every moment of the game is the absolutely beautiful musical score that accompanies this game. From the somber music of the main menu, the haunting chanting in an antagonist's monologue, or the pumped up, intense beat of boss battle music, every song is an absolute mood maker and super banger. The music just effortlessly intertwines with every moment of the game and really elevates the mood and drama of every scene. Another huge part of the game is the rebuilding of your hometown of Wishville. There's really just kinda an entire Animal Crossing-like game integrated into the RPG-ness of Octopath Zero, And it's honestly really fun. Has a lot of creative options. As you progress through the game and help new people, you'll unlock more and more building options for your town and can invite new people to live there. And it's surprisingly really deep and has a ton of content. If you like creative building type games, I think it's an amazing addition to this RPG, and it adds a very dynamic sort of gameplay loop that's very different from every other game in the genre. Now, it's been said that this game has around 100 plus hours of content, which is absolutely bonkers insane by all normal standards. And I can say this is true, or even an understatement. I've played around 40 hours at this point, and I just completed the first act of the game. I feel like I've barely scratched the surface with what this game has to offer. Octopath Traveler 0 is truly an RPG with immense depth and playtime in store, and from what I've seen, the game will just keep ramping up from here. Now, the only thing I would change about this game, just one little nitpick for me, is I wish items like swords and armor you acquire had visual sprites. Even if it's just in your inventory, I really like items in games and just kind of like looking at the designs of them. So seeing how all the different weapons and armors in this game just have text names and stats really made me wish I knew what they could have actually looked like. That being said, with this type of game, it does make sense why they don't have visual sprites like that, so I don't think it takes away from the experience that they don't. I just think it would add a lot if they went the extra mile into making those. All this being said, I just really like this game. The art style is amazingly stunning, like kind of ridiculously stunning, honestly. And the gameplay loop and story are very rewarding. And I can't wait to play more of this game, honestly. And now that I've gotten into Octopath Zero, I'm really curious what the other games in the series have in store, because I'm pretty sure they're all connected in some story way. I'm going to give Octopath Traveler 0 a 9 out of 10. An amazing game with tons of heart and soul brimming from it. The best octopus game I've ever played. Anyways, if you like this video, let me know what you thought. Let me know what you thought of the game. And subscribe, because there will be many more adventures to see together. Till next time.